Now, this is a crucial national security issue. We'll not reduce it to politics between political parties, so no political guess on this crucial national security issue on India First. All veterans and those who've seen action directly and risked their life and limb for our country. Let me introduce our guest, Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, former Director General of Infantry. General Kulkarni had planted the first tricolour at the northernmost point at the Siachen Glacier. Major D.P. Singh is a Kargil war hero and veteran. He's seen action firsthand. He's a battle casualty in the famous Blade Runner of India. Colonel Rohit Dev commanded his mechanized infantry troops, served extensively both in Jammu and Kashmir and our borders to the west and east, served in a peacekeeping mission in Sierra Leone in West Africa. Gentlemen, welcome on India First. General Kulkarni, merit in the criticism that our troops at the line of actual control will not be well trained as the Chinese troops because of the curtailed training.
Gaurav, the criticism is misplaced. Definitely, there is no compromise on training. The physical fitness, the mental robustness, his overall development as a soldier, they are pertaining to his physical proficiency, firing, fieldcraft, anything and everything. There is just no compromise. The 30 weeks plus training is adequate. To compare it with 6 months and 4 years, there was never 4 years of training. Let's put it that way at all. It's 6 months of training, which was there, which was now it is morning and evening. These boys are being trained hard. They're absolutely, and we have compared them with what it was earlier with the recruits and now with the agniveers. There has not at all been any drop in any field. I had met the first 2 batches when I had gone round, and I found they're kind of, there's no compromise. Absolutely, all of them seem fit. From the way they were, that the ethos of Naam, Namak, Nishan, that Josh, Jazba, Junoon, all of it, what I saw in them was there. Not even the salary part, whatever they got in the salary, whenever I saw them deployed along the LAC, whether it was in Arunachal or Ladakh, I found that they were being paid the same allowance that anybody and everybody would be when they're deployed along the LAC. So there is no question. I don't find this is totally misplaced. Yes, the aspect of training, definitely. You've got the commanding officers, the company commanders have to be up and about to train them.
And that's the point I'm coming to, Colonel Dev. The training of agniveers vis-a-vis the training of regular troops on a day-to-day basis, because it says the gun is important, but the man behind the gun is more important. The more you train in peace, the less you bleed in war. Is the training different, sir?
Gaurav, I totally agree with General Kulkarni, and the motion that the agniveers have been taken into the armed forces, remember, based on merit. They are being trained by a very meritorious army, and they are gainfully employed and will be employed by the best army in the world. So there is no reason to believe that our soldier is in any way lesser than any other soldier on this planet. In fact, we have seen that case of youngster in Galwan, that Sikh boy of 20 years old, what he did to the Chinese. So that is the metal we create. And to create that metal, the time is adequate, the resources are adequate. And just like General Kulkarni, one has also visited many units since the scheme. And I've also taken an opinion poll from the people who are commanding agniveers in their units and formations. And there is a very positive feedback which is coming from the ground. General Chauhan himself was in the Adjutant General's branch at the time when this entire thing was being made. He was not responsible. He was in the veterans division, but he is totally aware. So that CDS speaks with experience. General Kulkarni has seen it firsthand. I do not think it is auguring well for even a veteran to say the training is less. The training is never less, and there are so much of refresher courses and cadres and skill development which is done in a unit which cannot afford. Please, go ahead.
I want to bring Major D.P. Singh into this conversation. Give me a moment as we try and reestablish that link with Major D.P. Singh. There appears to be an issue, and if there's an issue with the video, let's try and get him on phone. General Kulkarni, as we try and get link up with Major D.P. Singh, again a Kargil war hero. General Kulkarni, Short Service Commission officers trained at the Officers Training Academy and the NDA trained officers or the IMA trained officers. Now, don't the OTA officers also fulfill those critical gaps at the level of captains and majors, where the shortage actually is. Do agniveers at the level of soldiers fill the same critical gap, sir?
Gaurav, if I can hear you well, because there's been some audio problem, notwithstanding that, but let me tell you, let's take the case of an ex-NDA. Now, that NDA officer has undergone 3 years of training. He's done 1 year of training in the IMA. He's done 4 years of training and then commissioned. And yet another short service officer who's done about 10 months of training and then commissioned. Obviously, that initial thing, but when training is concerned, at the OTA for that person, there is just no compromise. I'm an OTA product. I've risen to become a lieutenant general. So there is nothing like that. Everybody is at par. Initially, yes, there would be, but then subsequently everybody catches up. And in 10 months of intense training, vis-a-vis the rest of it, slowly and steadily everybody catches up. And even from the OTA, when the officers are coming, and all those who are found fit enough to continue, and those who are desirous of continuing to be in the army, they are allowed to get their permanent commission, and they carry on with the rest of them. And the seniority that they lose is the difference in their training between what the IMA direct entry would be 18 months to vis-a-vis the 10 months of training of the OTA. I don't think this is all concocted. This is all with a view to make it look that the agniveers are bad. Nobody. That there cannot be compromise on training. There cannot be compromise on values. There will never be compromise on his firing skills. There will never be compromise on his physical fitness, mental robustness, preparing for his field trial. There is something. And all these agniveers, when I met them, when they joined the battalion, the kind of morale, the kind of the josh that I saw in each one of them was just fantastic. I don't think we must not at any point of time unnecessarily criticize if you're not aware of it. No commanding officer, the regimental centers work so hard training these boys and then sending them to the battalion. And the feedback that they give is excellent. And the boys themselves are excellent. The uptake is very good.
Some of the criticism, Colonel Rohit Dev, is regular Jawans after 4 years of training will get to do so many more courses. The agniveers who stay back in the army after 4 years, 25% we are told will remain in the army. Will their careers follow the same track? Or, as some argue, will the agniveers perhaps be not the same as regular soldiers? Or will they end up being regular soldiers after 4 years?
Not at all, Gaurav. The Agniveer is trained in fieldcraft and battlecraft. They are good for the section level drills. In 4 years, they will be in platoons and leading some elements. And when they are selected, the answer lies in the selection process, which is being made right now for the Agniveers to be selected and retained. That will ensure the best of the pack is retained, and they will go the whole hog to become Subedar majors of the finest battalions in the future. There is no discrimination. However, to make people understand, like this clip which you showed me, I don't want to name that person, even post the Agniveer concept, when 75 go out, there's something which a lot of audiences don't know. The government of the day has planned their absorption in Home Ministry through CAPFs and Assam Rifles, through Shipping Ministry ports, through railways, through Aviation Ministry. They have been given subsidies through MOA, financial schemes have been made. Skill development has been planned even through chambers like FICCI and CII for bridging your skill sets, and private sectors getting involved, while the state government will also get contribution into police and security services.
However, that has been found wanting, Colonel Dev, even with ex-servicemen today. The numbers that are meant to be absorbed by state governments or various entities, including the Central Armed Police Forces, the criticism is, one, that is not happening, and two, when agniveers are absorbed, after X number of years, those who don't get selected for permanent commission, then the regular ex-servicemen will lose that 10% reservation that they have in various state governments.
Not at all, Gaurav. The context is absolutely, presumption is wrong by some politicians. Agniveer is a military necessity because over the last 1.5 decades, notwithstanding the shortfall in the officers' ranks, we also started having shortfall in the personnel ranks below the officers. And it's also a matter of beyond financial necessity, fiscal prudence, which a country has to see in the future. And I think from both the probabilities and considerations, it's a good scheme where the best are in, the best will be retained, and the others who go out, who may not be the best but good, they all will get not only government jobs and private sector jobs, but they will have so much of confidence and skill sets that they will be also be able to take entrepreneurial drives for this country. So I don't think so. We should make a molehill currently of this particular scheme. Obviously, it will be refined. There's a robust feedback mechanism which goes right till the top, and that is happening. So I'm quite sanguine that with the 4 years relaxation of age, which has been promised through various ministries, they are working on it.
Okay.
It is going to happen with the first batch. You will find no faux pas in the absorption of the first batch or the utilization. Coming to the last part about training, which people take out of context, that agniveers will be trained, they'll be thrown out, they'll become terrorists. You tell me which short service officer has become terrorist in the Indian Army? None. So that is the logic which is beyond comprehensible. And I'd like to just end my argument today by saying to Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and please allow me one sentence. This man was born with a silver spoon,
Okay.
50 years of political training, 20 years of active political training, and
Okay.
he's still a dud. He should not compare
that
the
personal
armed
attack,
forces.
sir, we can do without.
No. I'm
Sir,
giving it out of a lot of conviction because this man is ridiculing my armed forces every day on the streets.
Okay.
Every day on the streets, and we owe it to our nation that this man needs to be called out. Nothing political. It's a military
so what you're
response of
saying
a
is that
veteran
criticism
to a
is
politician who is
unfounded.
speaking out of context. Absolutely.
General, would you agree that are 2 points, 2 critical points raised, by the political leader mentioned here? One, that at the line of actual control, the Chinese soldiers would be superior in their training compared to the agniveers in handling weapons because of the curtailed training of the agniveers. Point one. Point two, it's to reduce the pension bill and send that same money, as Rahul Gandhi put it, to Adani Defense. Now, where do you stand on that, General Kulkarni? General Kulkarni, can you hear me? Okay, I seem to be having... General Kulkarni, can you hear me? We'll try and reestablish that link. We also seem to be having an issue with Major DP Singh's connection. But Colonel Dev, let me come back to you on that point. That Agniveer scheme is being brought in only to reduce the pension bill, to be able to send money, as Rahul Gandhi puts it. And sir, no personal attacks is my request to you.
Attack. Okay.
And no
Just
individual name
facts.
calling is my other
Just
request to you.
facts.
But that money will be going to Adani Defense.
Just 2 facts. 71 war. What was the pension of the armed forces? Why was it reduced? Outgoing government in 2004. Why did you give a paltry 500 crores in the name of, the Europe to the country? 14, sorry, my fault, 2014. See, what is this about Adani? No Adani or no Augusta Westland is going to make a weapon system free of cost. It's going to cost money. It is born out of the exchequer through the CFA. There is budget allotment. It goes out of certain heads. So that is the way it is going to go. How is it being construed? Tomorrow you will say, and why are you not saying that actually, that somebody who's making a scheme for rural economy development, renewable energy, we are giving it to some company in India or abroad because we want to take away the money from pensioners. Does that make any logic? There is a separate quota of budget for every activity a government or a nation wants to achieve. You can't put all the money for the armed forces, the veterans, and things like that. It has to be a measured response, a calibrated, mature allocation for a 1.44 billion population.
And the fact remains, you need modern weapons to fight an expansionist force along the India-Tibet border, a country that's actually occupying Tibet. So you need to have weapons and you need troops who are well trained. We'll be tracking that story very, very closely. General Kulkarni and Colonel Dev for joining me here on India Today. Many thanks.